The wheel is the list of the top 25 teams preseason based on what's been ranked, right? It's going to spin. It's going to land on the team. And we're going to do a fan base check-in. Simple as that. We did BYU. We did Texas Tech. Who is the wheel going to land on tonight? All right? And I got the wheel to work finally. I got the wheel to work. But drum roll, please, and let's get this going. The wheel, ladies and gentlemen. Hey. Okay. LSU it is. Somebody get snacks. Somebody get snacks in the chat. Somebody get snacks in the chat. We are talking about the Baton Rouge Tigers, the LSU Tigers, the Lane Kiffin Tigers. The most hated team will be the most hated team in college football heading into next season. All right. Let's talk about the LSU Tigers and what to expect from the LSU Tigers. What does this team going to look like? This is going to be a Lane Kiffin experiment, unlike any other, right? So let's get into it. Brand new identity under Lane Kiffin, right? Listen, Lane Kiffin's a successful coach. Don't get it twisted. He's done well not only in high school recruiting, he's done well in the transfer portal as well too, right? So Lane Kiffin is going to he's going to do well when it comes to recruiting. Let's not get that twisted, all right? This is probably going to be his biggest challenge yet, all right? And that's including Tennessee when he was a young buck, right? That's including USC when he was a young buck. He's proven the success even from the Ole Miss days, but now can he do it at a school that between the last 3 out of 4 coaches all have won natties? Nick Saban, Les Miles, Coach O, go Tigers, and Brian Kelly. Obviously, we know how that panned out, right? So can he replicate the success he had at Ole Miss and bring it to Baton Rouge, right? It's national championship expectations, right? This is a team that really has underperformed for like the last 2 or 3 years, especially last year. God, last year was awful. Sorry, Snacks. Last year was awful, right? So what does Lane do? He comes in, roster turnover. It had to be. And not necessarily losing a lot of guys, but getting guys that's going to fit his system, right? And his system works. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? So let's dive into it. Key players returning, right? Harlem Berry, he was a freshman running back last year, standout. He's going to be the centerpiece of that offense, right? Now, is he going to be what Casey Kyron Lacey is? Yet to be determined. But he's also going to have his running mate in Cade Durham that's going to be running with him, right, on the offensive side. Not to mention probably one of the most athletic tight ends in Trey'Dez Green that is returning back, right? He's a big red zone target. Sam Levitt's going to love this guy, right? Lane Kiffin's going to love this guy. Baton Rouge already loves this guy, right? Now, on the defensive side, right, Whit Weeks, he is the heartbeat of that defense. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whit Weeks, also dating Lane Kiffin's daughter, is going to be the guy. He'll be a top draft pick, but he's going to be the guy that sets the front, gets everyone the line in the back, right? And I did a short about him and the conversation he had with Gus Nussmeier, partially making fun of him, right? But it's been a little quiet in Baton Rouge. It's been a little quiet around the Weeks part, right? I think Witt is going to be a problem to mess with. Not to mention DJ Pickett, Tamarius Cooley, PJ Woolen, a team, a school with a rich history of defensive backs. Patrick Peterson, right? Tyrann Mathieu, right? Maurice Claiborne. Who else? LaRon Landry, for those who remember, right? Ryan Clark. This was a school that was DBU but has lost that identity. Well, they got three returners in the secondary that's coming back next year. You think about what they did in the transfer portal, one of the top transfer portals class. Obviously, Sam Levitt. They got their quarterback. Can he live up to the hype? Can Sam Levitt live up to the hype? Because even going in the last year versus Arizona State, he had hype. injuries played a role. He didn't really perform his best. Going in the transfer portal now required a lot of money, right? And he got paid, right? Can he live up to that hype in an offense that's very quarterback friendly, right? If Lane Kiffin could go to D2 and get a quarterback that would eventually start for him and almost get to a natty, Sam Levitt, the pressure's on, man. It's on you now. It's on you now. It's on you now. I don't think anybody could disagree with that. Not to mention Jackson Harris, a big deep threat, a big deep ball threat, right? That they have, and they went and got J.C. Brown, they went and got Trey Wilson. Listen, this wide receiver group, a lot different than what LSU fans are looking for, or what they had in the past. Because the wide receiver group in the past, you think about Justin Jefferson, you think about, you know who I'm talking about. The other receiver is blanking on Jamar Chase, right? The type of receivers they have now, a little bit more faster, a little bit more slimmer, quicker, right? Maybe more elusive in space. And that's what this offense is about. This offense is about the play action, the deep crosses, work in the middle of the field, hitting those voids, right? So we're going to see an offense that could potentially be, with these receiver threats, one of the most explosive offenses Lane Kiffin has ever had. Not to mention the cherry on top, you get the number one offensive tackle in Jordan Seaton, who transferred from Colorado to LSU to stabilize that offensive line. So offense, they've done well. On the defensive side, not to mention the returning guys I talked about, but you also get a safety who I like, right? And Ty Benefield, right, who's going to impact and provide a veteran leadership in that secondary right away for an already experienced secondary, right? So listen, LSU, Lane Kiffin, they did a hell of a job in the portal, right? They did a hell of a job in the portal. You got to give them the kudos. And not to mention, you have one of the top freshman class, including the number one rated defensive tackle who is from your state and stayed home. My question is who's on Rock 7? Because that's going to tell us everything we need to know about the playmaker we're going to need to follow, right, this year in LSU, right? Snacks, if you're in the chat, who would you give 7 to? That's what I want to know. Let's take a look at their schedule, right? Let's take a look at their schedule, because it's not going to be an easy one, right? It's not going to be a pretty one in regards to the teams that they play, right? All right. So Clemson, right off the bat, what's that going to look like? We saw the hype going into last year, LSU Clemson. What's this Clemson team versus this LSU team's going to look like? I'd probably say LSU's going to be favored, but their first 4 games are brutal, right? Outside of La Tech, you got your Super Bowl, Ole Miss, going to Ole Miss, first away game, and then you got A&M before you get McNeese State, and then you head into SEC play, right? So when you look at this is not going to be easy road. They're going to be the most hated team. They're going to be in the most hostile environments, all season. How does this team come together with cohesion and chemistry to go up against what may be the most volatile season in LSU history? Right? Because, listen, it's going to be a rough one, especially that third game at Ole Miss, especially, right? Later in the season, it's no easy stretch, right? Auburn, Alabama, at Alabama, Texas, Tennessee. That stretch alone, let me ask you this in the chat. Does LSU make the playoffs looking at this schedule? Does LSU make the playoffs looking at this schedule, right? Because I can easily see, I don't want to say easily, but I can see at least 3 losses. And 3 losses don't crack the top 12. Obviously, it depends on how everything pans out, but I see 3 losses. I can see 3 losses here. What are your thoughts on LSU schedule? Drop it in the chat, right? Some big question marks for LSU, right? Can they return back to the playoffs? We just talked about it. How many wins, how many losses are they going to get? Will the transfer portal that they had, will they be able to impact early for LSU? Because they're going to be tested right out the gate, 3 out of the first 4 games, right? Expectations for LSU, again, you had the top 10 portal class. You had one of the top freshman recruiting classes. You got the top quarterback, right? My expectation is you got to get to the SEC championship. You got to find a way to get there. Win or lose, I'm not even saying you got to win it, but at least if you get there, that tells me you're at least in the playoffs. So my expectations for LSU is you have to get to the SEC championship. Don't be a 3-loss team trying to fight your way in. No, get to the SEC championship, which means you either ran through the SEC or you got 1 or 2 losses to a quality team, a team you may be rematching in the SEC championship.